Okay, it'd be great to start with a little bit of a brief overview of your career to date before you arrived at Mimecast.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Philip. I appreciate it. I've done a few roles. Before I was at Mimecast, I was at a company called Anomaly, which was a SIM threat intelligence platform. A great company. I was there for a year. And then prior to that, I spent 3 years at a company called Imperva. Imperva was a application data security company. And at that company, as well as Anomaly, I was responsible for all channels and alliances. So responsible for all routes to markets, whether it's distributors, resellers, MSPs, as well as technical alliance partnerships. And prior to that, I was at a company called Akamai, where I was there for almost 7 years, 8 years almost. Similar role, I was responsible for all of our global channel business, which included mainly MSSPs, resellers, distributors, mainly focusing on CDN type services as well as application security. But the majority of my career has always been in managed services. I worked for large outsourcing companies. I worked for Dell Managed Services. I worked for a company that's a little bit dated now, that doesn't exist. It used to be called SEMA. It used to be now it's part of Atos. And prior to that, in a real long past life, I was an American professional baseball player. So I have had a little bit of a different career.
Okay, yes. Yeah. I won't ask you which you prefer. That would be unfair, but and obviously you have now arrived at Mimecast, and I guess
Yes.
it would be great to understand what it was that attracted you to the company. From what you were doing previously, what was there a fresh challenge there? Was time to move on? Yeah, just give us some background as to your arrival.
Being based in Boston, I knew of Mimecast for quite a while. They had a great reputation, excellent marketing, and was very well known in the email cybersecurity space. And when I heard about some of the new acquisitions, the Code 42 acquisition and the Aware acquisition, it made me really think about how Mimecast is developing and evolving its platform. And then when I started hearing about the human risk story, about how we help customers protect themselves from insider threats, it really piqued my interest. I had a mutual colleague who knew the CEO Mark Van Zanderhoff. He has a very great reputation, and David Heffler, who himself was ex-channel chief. So knowing people that committed to the channel, the reputation of the company and the technology space, and also being close to home, it was almost a no-brainer. So I was very attractive, and then meeting the people, understanding more of the tech, really excited me. And one more thing, I could not be more happy with my decision to come here.
Okay, and in terms of the responsibilities you've got, I think your official title is SVP of Worldwide Partners and Alliances. Is it, so shall we say, more of the same, or have you been brought on to sort of bring about new thinking and initiatives in particular? Just give us some flavor of
the Alliance organization, strategic. We have over 300 integration partners, and we have a strategic, very new relationship with AWS, both as a customer of AWS as well as a go-to-market partner. And so that organization was sitting outside of the channel organization, and we weren't getting the leverage or the benefit of having a better together story. And so the thing we did different with the role when I came on board is put those two organizations together. The traditional channel MSP reseller world with the strategic alliance and organization, and created this new function with the goal of getting more leverage and more collaboration between the two functions. And we're already starting to see that. I got a chance to spend time at Black Hat, and I think most of the partners I met were strategic alliance partners, and really talking about how we can create a better together story and solve customers' problems by leveraging our kind of our integrated capabilities.
Okay, and to that effect, do you have any particular strategic goals and plans over the coming months and into next year as well, that if you've got specific things, or is it still very much developing these partnerships? Just what you can share as to
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, Mimecast has been really considered a partner that really is um, innovative. We try to give great benefits to our partners who join our partner program, our Partner One program. But there are some opportunities. The first thing I want to do is really try to work on how do we make it easier for us to do business with. You know, we have a lot of great technologies. We have a lot of different solutions, and sometimes it might not be that easy to maneuver. So how to really make it easier for us to do business with, that's one. How to help partners become enabled in a way that can demonstrate capabilities. We have over 300 assets that partners can leverage to get training, but how do we create a clear learning path so that partners really can demonstrate value and capabilities to their customers? How do we work with partners to make them more engaged in the complete customer life cycle? We incentivize partners very well to bring new opportunities to us, but we also want to make sure that they're engaged and incentivized to keep those customers. How do we leverage the AWS relationship and some of our strategic alliance partners to really accelerate growth and to help us close more and more business in the large enterprise space? There are a few geo markets we'd like to explore. So how do we work with distribution and some of our resellers to help accelerate our entry into some of those markets? And then also with the acquisition of our Insider and Aware products over a year ago, how do we leverage those capabilities to help customers, help our partners tell to their customers the human risk story, being able to help manage their users to help to identify where they are risky and how they're able to protect themselves and mitigate themselves from insider threats. So those are that's a lot there, but those are
Well, I
some
was
of the
going to
big
say,
topics.
it sounds like you have a fairly full full
That's
program ahead
30
for
days. That's
you.
30
Yeah.
days. Yep.
But in terms, I guess, of just a bit more generally, I mean, how would you characterize the Mimecast proposition? Clearly, today's IT world's rapidly evolving. I mean, cybersecurity remains pretty much front and center,
Yeah.
and then along comes this thing called AI, which is making big waves. So I
Yeah.
guess those are perhaps the main two challenges, which can also be opportunities. So just, yeah, where do you see Mimecast sort of fitting within that landscape?
Yeah. Look, a lot of companies have known Mimecast as an email security provider. We have one of the most well-known and most highly respected performing email gateway. So from that point of view, we have a great reputation. We've the market leader there. As we look to help customers protect themselves from insider threats, we're really excited about the Code 42 acquisition. Customers being able to make sure the right employees have the access to the right data, preventing data loss prevention, preventing data from leaking out the organization, ensuring information is getting to the right people. That's a huge opportunity. And with that type of capability, there's a big opportunity for partners to make services, to develop service businesses, service practices, because they're able to now help customers not only uh, identify those high risk users and how to make sure they have maybe a different protection profile versus the everyday user that may not be as risky. But there's also a way to provide some consulting services, help customers set up their policies around security, help identify those users and keep them secured. How to keep them aware of that they are a risky individual because of their profiles, and make sure they're aware of the particular risks they might have based on the roles in the company. And we think that's a huge opportunity for partners to really build a business practice and really drive a much more deeper and strategic conversation than we probably had in the past. So we're excited about that.
Okay, and clearly it's early days for you, so it might be a bit unfair to ask you, but you've referenced a couple of the acquisitions, Code 42 and Aware. I mean, is it safe for us to assume that other acquisitions might follow as the company looks to develop its technology solutions portfolio? I mean, I say you might just say, I don't know, because I've only been here for so, but
Well,
if you
I
have
know
any
we have.
thoughts, please share them.
Well, look, there's a lot of cybersecurity vendors out in the market. We have a merger and acquisition team that's always looking for ways for synergistic technologies and capabilities. So it would be safe to bet to say that we're always going to be looking for ways to either complement our offerings or enhance our offerings. And so I would assume that would be the case. I don't have any names, of course, and I couldn't share if I
No,
could,
no.
but I'm sure that's going to continue to be a priority for us.
Okay, and then just in terms of the Mimecast roadmap, obviously you earlier on shared quite a lot of the stuff that's going to keep you busy. I mean, are there
Mhm.
anything else you can share as to what Mimecast itself, as a company is going to be focused on, whether it's developing existing solutions, new ones? I think you mentioned, new geographical areas. So yeah, just how busy is the company going to be doing things in the next few months?
Yeah, well, we're quite busy. Look, this human risk storage really, we see customers that resonate with customers, meaning that they all had challenges of how to help protect their employees for insider threats. And so we're seeing that really take off. We had an amazing event at Black Hat. We had a significant amount of people coming in, listening to our talks, understanding how we solve that problem. I think that how do we work with distribution in a deliberate way? Distributors are still critical, and it's a part of our ecosystem. So how do we continue to evolve that relationship to get more out of each other? MSPs. We have over 1,500 MSPs with over 20,000 customers. How do we make sure that we're providing them the access to the technology the way they want to use it, as well as making it easy for them to interact with us? And so as we continue to work with MSPs and make sure those 20,000 customers double to 40,000, which we would love to see, how we're providing the right support, enablement, and marketing collateral and content to support their goals while we continue to help evolve our portfolio and making sure these new capabilities are part of that arsenal when they're talking to their customer base. I think those are three things that are they're probably pretty front and center for me over the next 60, 90 days.
Okay, I mean, it's been fantastic to chat to you, and thanks so much for sharing so many insights into what yourself has been up to, are going to be up to, and Mimecast more generally. So just really appreciate the time you've given me. Thanks so
Thanks
much.
for having me. Look, I'm looking forward to going and visiting our partners. Look, I spent time in Singapore. I lived in Europe, lived in Africa. So going back and spending time with our partners, seeing old friends is going to be very useful to help me shape my strategy as I continue to help us really grow our business, leveraging our partner ecosystem, which is a critical part of our go-to-market. So thanks for having me. Thank you.
And good luck for the role.